everyone. Ready for a deep dive into the future of business analysis. We're tackling your questions about AI head on today. We've got excerpts from Kitty Hung's Business Analysis in the Brave New World, some cutting edge research all prepped and ready to go, so no more vague anxieties about robots taking over. By the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly how AI is reshaping your world, and more importantly, the skills you need to level up. Now, Kitty Hung points to late 2022 as a major turning point. I mean, we all saw the headlines about ChatGPT, delete. It felt like the future arrived overnight. But what was it about that moment that really shifted the game for business analysis specifically?
Yeah, it was a whirlwind, for sure. But I think it wasn't just that these AI tools suddenly existed, it's that they became accessible to practically everyone. That's huge for business analysts because it changes the playing field.
Okay, so less about robots stealing jobs, more about everyone getting a power up. I like the sound of that. But how does that actually play out in the day-to-day work of a business analyst? Give me the specifics.
Imagine this. You're usually bogged down by gathering and cleaning data for hours, right?
Yeah.
Now, AI tools can potentially crunch through that in a fraction of the time. But here's the key difference that doesn't make you obsolete. It frees you up to focus on the strategic stuff that AI can't do.
So instead of getting lost in spreadsheets, we get to be the strategic masterminds. Okay, I'm listening.
Exactly. Think about it. AI might be able to identify a trend in the data, but it's the business analyst who can connect that trend to the client's goals, their market, their competitors. AI might be able to generate a basic report, but it's the business analyst who can craft a compelling narrative that drives decision-making.
It's like AI can be the assistant, but we're still calling the shots.
Precisely. And to call those shots effectively, we need to adapt. That's where the real juice of Kitty Hung's book comes in. She lays out this idea of prompt engineering. And let me tell you, it's way cooler than it sounds.
All right, you've piqued my curiosity. I'll admit, when I first heard prompt engineering, I thought, is that like teaching etiquette to robots? Break it down for me. What does a business analyst need to know to rock this prompt engineering thing?
Think of it like this. You wouldn't just throw a complex equation at a calculator and expect a perfect answer without understanding the functions, right? Prompt engineering is about understanding how to talk to AI. These tools are powerful, but they need clear, specific instructions to deliver what you actually need.
So it's not enough to just know how to use the AI tool. You need to know how to speak its language, right?
Exactly. A business analyst with strong prompt engineering skills. That's someone who can get incredibly specific and targeted results from AI, whether it's market analysis, competitor research, or even risk assessment.
Okay, that's starting to sound less like futuristic jargon and more like a seriously valuable skill set. But even with perfect prompts, isn't there a risk that the AI could still get things wrong? I've seen those headlines about AI hallucinations. Not exactly confidence-inspiring.
That's a really important point. And it's why Kitty Hung emphasizes that human oversight is more crucial than ever. Business analysts are uniquely positioned to spot those hallucinations because you understand the domain expertise. You know when something smells fishy in a way that an AI, even a really advanced one, might not.
So we're like the AI whisperers, but also the BS detectives.
Yes, exactly. You're the ones who can look at an AI-generated report, for example, and say, hold on, this doesn't quite add up with what we know about this market, or this recommendation, while technically sound, doesn't take into account this particular client's risk appetite. That's where your value as a business analyst becomes indispensable.
Okay, this is starting to feel less like AI replacing business analysts and more like AI giving business analysts a serious upgrade. But let's be real, all this talk about powerful tech adapting to the future, there's got to be some anxiety around job security, right?
It's a valid concern. And honestly, anyone who says they're not at least a little bit worried is probably not paying attention.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Kitty Hung argues that focusing on that fear is missing the bigger picture. Instead of asking, will AI take my job? What if we ask, what new opportunities does AI create? Because make no mistake, the way we work is changing. But change brings exciting possibilities.
Okay, I'm all for focusing on opportunity, but I need specifics. What are some real-world examples where business analysts are already using these skills to level up, not get left behind?
Kitty Hung dives into some awesome examples in the book, and one that really stood out to me was airport optimization. We all know airports can be, let's just say, logistically challenged.
You're being way too polite. Logistically challenged is an understatement.
Right. But think about the potential here. AI can analyze passenger flow in real time. flagging potential bottlenecks before they even happen. That means less waiting, smoother transitions, music to a traveler's ears. And guess who's perfectly positioned to help airports implement and optimize those AI systems? Business analysts with a deep understanding of both the technology and the passenger experience.
It's like you're not just making the airport more efficient, you're actually improving people's lives, even if it's just taking a bit of stress out of their travel day. I like that. But let's talk about an industry where the stakes are even higher: cybersecurity.
Now, there's a field where AI is both the problem and the solution. It's like a digital arms race.
So, on one hand, you've got hackers using AI to launch more sophisticated attacks. And on the other, you've got security pros using AI to fight back. That sounds intense.
It is. And that's precisely why business analysts with a deep understanding of cybersecurity are more valuable than ever. Think about it. Someone needs to bridge the gap between the tech wizards building the AI defenses and the business leaders making strategic decisions about risk tolerance and resource allocation.
Wait, so you're telling me that being a business analyst in cybersecurity means you need to understand not just the business side, but also be somewhat tech savvy? That's a tall order.
It is, but that's also what makes it such a rewarding field. And Kitty Hung argues that this idea of AI literacy is going to be crucial across industries, not just in highly technical ones.
Okay, so AI literacy for everyone. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But what does that actually look like in practice? Give me the breakdown.
It's about understanding what AI can and cannot do, recognizing its limitations, and being able to ask the right questions. It's about being able to have informed conversations with both the tech folks, ADE, the business folks, connecting the dots and making sure everyone's on the same page. And that's a skill that any business analyst, regardless of their industry, can start developing today.
It's like you become the AI translator, helping everyone speak the same language. I like it. But let's shift gears for a second and talk about a topic Kitty Hung brings up that I found both fascinating and a little bit unsettling: the pace of AI development.
It's a debate that's raging in tech circles and beyond. You've got folks like Elon Musk calling for a pause, arguing that we're rushing headlong into a future we don't fully understand. And then you've got others, like Kitty Hung herself, who argue that a pause is not only unrealistic, but potentially harmful.
Okay, so on one hand, we've got the potential for AI to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges: climate change, disease, you name it. But on the other hand, there's the fear that it could get away from us, right?
It's a classic double-edged sword. And there's no easy answer. But what Kitty Hung does so brilliantly in her book is to frame the conversation in a way that's both thought-provoking and bowering.
So instead of getting bogged down in the fear factor, she's saying, okay, let's be smart about this. Let's acknowledge the potential downsides, but let's also focus on how we can shape this technology for good.
Exactly. And she challenges business analysts to be at the forefront of that conversation, to be the voice of reason, the bridge builders, the ones who can guide AI's development and implementation in a way that's ethical, responsible, and ultimately beneficial to humanity.
Okay, now that is a mission I can get behind, but how do we actually make that happen? It's easy to talk about shaping the future, but what are the practical steps business analysts can take today to ensure they're not just along for the ride, but actively steering the ship, so to speak?
Well, for starters, Kitty Hung lays out a really practical 7-step framework in her book that any business analyst can start implementing right away.
So she lays out this framework to help business analysts make that leap from just documenting processes to becoming these strategic advisors who can leverage AI effectively.
And it's not some pie-in-the-sky theory either. She breaks it down into tangible steps, things like identifying automation opportunities within existing workflows, analyzing the potential ROI of implementing AI tools, even figuring out how to communicate those changes to stakeholders in a way that gets everyone on board.
So it's like a roadmap, but not just for using the tech, for navigating that human side of change management, which, let's be honest, can be the trickiest part.
Absolutely. And what I love about Kitty Hung's approach is she doesn't shy away from the fact that this is a journey, not a destination. The world of AI is constantly evolving, which means business analysts need to be committed to continuous learning.
Okay, so always be learning. Got it. But what does that look like beyond just, reading every AI article that pops up in our newsfeed? Get practical with me here.
I'm all about practical. Think about seeking out training programs specifically designed for business analysts working with AI. There are some incredible certifications popping up that can give you a real edge. And don't underestimate the power of networking. Find communities online or in your city where people are already using AI in business analysis. Learn from their wins, their challenges, their real-world insights.
It's like The future is about humans and D machines working together, so why not learn from each other too? Makes sense. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have to ask, we've covered a ton of ground here. What's the one big takeaway you really want listeners to walk away with?
Honestly, if I could leave every listener with just one thought, it's this. Don't let fear of the unknown hold you back. AI isn't some distant threat. It's an opportunity already knocking at your door. Embrace the challenge. Get curious and get ready to level up your skills because the future of business analysis is brighter than ever.
Beautifully said. And on that note of optimism, we've reached the end of our deep dive. We hope you feel inspired, informed, and ready to tackle the exciting world of AI and business analysis.
Until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep.